så kan ni ju skriva in i chatten. Det går ju inte så bra kanske. Vi börjar nu i alla fall med webbinariet Snabbare och smartare detaljer i Revit. Att vi ska öka detaljeringsgraden till LOD 400 snabbare. Vi som presenterar idag är jag som pratar nu, Maria Runesson, AEC i Växjö. Och sedan kommer att Valensas presentera själva demon av produkten. AEC och AGACAD som Valensas kommer ifrån samarbetar nära i att utveckla lösningar för BIM-arbetet. AEC har ju Gold-status partnerskap, Autodesk Guldpartner, och har varit det länge, och vi jobbar med CAD BIM-lösningar för att effektivisera byggindustrin, och vi har jobbat med det i 25 år och är återförsäljare till Autodesk. AGACAD som är vår samarbetspartner har funnits sedan 1988 och utvecklar just applikationer till Revit för att effektivisera arbetet, och de har mer än 9000 användare i över 129 olika länder. De här lösningarna vi presenterar på webbinaren har vi även med på våra vårseminarier och frukostseminarier. Vi hade ett nu i mars. Så är ni mer intresserade av att se vad det finns för lösningar från vår samarbetspartner, så kommer vi visa lite mer på vårseminariet som kommer i maj. Så håll utkik på vår hemsida. Jag lämnar nu här över ordet till Valensas på AGACAD, och han kommer hålla presentationen på engelska. Over to you, Valensas.
Okay, I will change the presenter. Okay, show my screen. So now you should see my screen, my slides. Okay, in this webinar you will learn my first slide. So I hope the sound is okay, and if it's not, and if you don't see the view, just drop me a message and I will know. Okay, so let's start. In this webinar you will learn how to work with smart details, how to insert details from MEP and elements for connections of different framing elements, how to insert details to precast elements, how to insert details for the curtain walls, and so on. You will see how to create automated process in Revit to create lot 400 modeling. Okay, let's just go through the slides, and you will have these slides in the handout, so you will see the descriptions of the smart details. I will show this live. So okay, you will see the description over here, the features it has, that it can connect details to the surrounding elements, it will insert details according to the rules, it has interaction with our other solutions, smart assemblies. Okay, so we have released a new version of Smart Details not so long ago, and these are new features of this new release, so I will talk about them in our live demo. So I will just switch over to my Revit screen. I will open it here. I have to minimize this one. No, like this. Okay, so now you should see the Revit screen. My Revit screen. Let's see. right. Okay, so in the Revit screen you see a demo file of Smart Details, and you see the tools for BIM doc, which is our solution to install all of our solutions, all of our tools. So you can download these tools for BIM from our webpage and then choose and install any of our tools. So here I have Smart Details. If I will select it, you will see here the commands available for Smart Details. You will see this icon. If you open it, you will see all the commands in the ribbon. I will close this one because I use this doc. I see the updates from here and so on. And you'll see here the question mark, so you can open the web page where you find some webinars, you find some information about how to work with Smart Details. You will find sample project. So sample project, if you will open it, you can overview the possibilities of Smart Details. Let's say you will see here a lot of different elements, and if you will click on any of these and you will choose command from Smart Details to modify details, you will be able to overview this configuration. You can save it to your computer. You can overview what details has been used. Let's say here you will see that this family was inserted at the start and end phases of this panel with such rules. So you can analyze this, and it will help you to understand how it was created. You can also overview details, how the families has been created, how these parameters has been used. So I will talk more about this, or how these connecting angles were inserted in the intersecting point of this structural framing element and so on. So you can overview this in demo file. Now let's go and see how it works. I will switch to a different project over here, and okay, so Smart Details has 4 tabs over here: configuration, create, modify, delete, and gravity point. So first of all, when you want to use insert details command, you have to prepare some rules how to insert these details, how they should be distributed. So first of all, you have to prepare configurations. Here you have 2 options: to open configuration window or define the configuration file location. So you can use any other location or use default location for configuration files. Okay, so how Smart Details works actually. So you select the main element and you insert details into this element according to the defined rules. I will just run one command and we'll see how does it look. I select this element, I select insert details command, I select the configuration I have prepared before, and then I click on insert details command. And you will see that now, according to the rules, all of these details are inserted. So during the presentation you will see a lot of different options. This is just one possibility. So I will switch to this view and let's just overview the configuration of this option. So I will open configuration window again and we will try to run through the possibilities of a Smart Detail. Okay, this is Smart Detail configuration window. On the top you will see the element possible categories of the elements you can use with Smart Details. So Smart Details works with walls, parts, structural framing elements, line-based generic models, and curtain panels. So you can use Smart Details for these elements. Here you can save, duplicate, rename, delete your configurations under different names. First, when you will install, you will see only this configuration, so you will have to duplicate it and prepare configurations. Okay, so now on the left side you will see the possibilities where and how you can insert your details. So first for the line-based elements, and then you have 3 options for the point-based elements to insert on different surfaces. And here you have 4 tabs to insert these details. So let's say you can insert 4 different line-based details on side faces. Okay, so in one tab you can define one detail to insert on one or both surfaces as it is defined in this tab. Okay, so why do we call this detail priority? Because Smart Details will search for the details defined here. It will insert details defined here, then it will go to this tab, it will insert details defined here, and so on until it will finish here, and then it will go vertically down and horizontally to the right side in each of these tabs. Okay, so here you can define select the category of a detail. So possible categories are generic model, structural connections, and structural framing categories for the details. And then you select the family which you want to use. Okay, I will select one. You will see orange color here. It means that you didn't select this insert details command. And if you will switch to none, you will see the red color. So it just gives you quick information about what's going on with your settings. Okay, so you can select the family and type from the list, or you can use family browser, and let's say just select one of your families, so from here, and click on OK, and you will have this family selected here. Then you have options to flip this element, to flip by work plane, to flip by X or Y axis if you have these in your detail family. You can flip by project or choose to use tab by project. What does it mean? Actually, it's the best explanation is in our blog, where you can find these flip options explained. Let's say if you will insert cut on one side and you will flip by X-axis, so you will have this cut symmetrically on both sides. Or if you will use flip by Y-axis, let's say you can flip your cuts or details or whatever. If you will choose to use tab by project option, then let's say I have selected to insert details on the left side of my framing element. So it will insert these details on the left side according to the family of this structural element. But if I will choose this option on, then it will insert according to the project. So it will be here top, here the left side, here the top, here the left side. So it will not depend on the rotation of your element. Flip by project option gives you opportunity to flip detail automatically according to the main element. If main element is flipped, then this detail also will be flipped. Let's say in this situation. Okay, I will go back to the configuration window again. Over here, let's just switch to my details I have used on the previous panel, and you will see that here I have defined to distribute elements according to these rules. So in the picture below, you will see the meaning of these values over here. So I chose to use start offset value, the end offset value. I chose to insert this detail only on the left side of my panel, and I have chosen to use this rule to insert 2 details. Or I can choose other rules how to distribute these elements. But for this detail, I have used fixed number, and then I have other detail inserted, the opening on the bottom, so I chose to insert on the side surfaces with these offset values, and then I chose to use this rule to insert my details. Yeah, so these are rules for the layout axis, as you see from the picture, and these are rules for the to distribute elements in other direction for the as an array axis, as you see in the picture below. So these are the same options. You can just choose how to distribute your elements. For the point-based elements, you also have possibility to insert details according to the gravity point. So you can do this on the side faces or top and bottom faces. You can automatically insert details according to the gravity point. Here under the layout correction by elements, you have possibility to search vertically for elements or faces. So if you choose faces, you can restrict insert of your details if the minimal solid depth is not enough or the maximal gap is too big, as it is defined in the picture at the bottom. Or so I will show this in live example, and you can search for the elements. So you can, if you will choose to search for the elements, you can select to insert your details in the intersection points with these this category elements. So let's say you can insert details in the intersection of structural framing elements. So again, I will show this live in Revit. Let's just, yeah, these are configurations, and you just run through these tabs and define the details where you want to insert them. And let's just get back and overview. Let's say I have used one rule to distribute these holes. I have used one rule to distribute these plates, and I have used one rule to distribute these anchors at the top. But let's say I have another element over here. Okay, so I have distributed the cuts on this face. I have used to insert these details at the bottom, but also to correct insert of details according to the available solid depth. So I don't have available solid depth for this detail, and my element was not inserted. If I will overview this configuration, you will see that for this detail I have chosen to search for the faces. If the available solid depth is like this, then detail will be inserted. If there is not enough space, the detail will not be inserted. Then I have this line-based cut at both sides of my wall. Then I have distributed these elements with a predefined step. Then I have this cut at the top of my wall. I have this cut at the edge of my wall, and so on. So you can define as many details as you want, and yeah, to create any element you want. Let's say if I will select these framing elements and I will choose this configuration, I can insert, let's say, cuts at the ends of my framing element, right? So yeah, I will go through different options and explain again how it can be used and what other features of this program. So you see all of these details were inserted with Smart Details, so it's pretty time saving tool. Okay, let's see other examples. How does it work? I will close this one. Let's go here. Okay, let's just run through some examples. Let's say if I will select these hollow core slabs and I will insert some details according to my prepared configurations. Okay, I will select this one and I will insert details here. Okay, so you have possibility to insert details. You have possibility to modify details later. Let's say it's on the opposite side, so it's not very good, but I don't want to create different configurations for each of the case. So I can just select these details. I will select to modify these details, and yeah, I will just change the flip of this detail, and I will update my details. So now they will be flipped and they will be on the right side where it should be. So details are related to the element. Let's say when you insert details, you can modify and it will depend on this element. It doesn't matter that configuration in the configuration window is different. Okay, let's insert few more details. Let's say we'll select these elements and we will insert details here. So okay, the other very good feature of Smart Details is that it can read values from the host element or from connected elements. So let's say this opening was inserted according to the dimensions of this structural framing element. I will maybe just show you how can we do this. Let's say I have two different widths elements, and you will see that width of this element is defined by this parameter, the B value. So you see here we have different values for this. For the width of my structural framing element, and I will insert details. Let's say I will insert only one detail. I can insert more, but I have just this kind of configuration, this one. So if I will just notice how does it work. The detail is inserted and then moved to the edges of my to my structural framing element. And why is that? Because I have this parameter with the grades and the same name as in the host element. So when I created my detail family, I have used a parameter with the same name as the host element. I just added the grade symbol over here, and now I can, during the insert process, I can read values from the host element and use them in my Smart Details. So you see I have used host value to define the distance between these two details. So I don't need to create two different families to insert these details at the edges of my different width structural framing elements. I can do even more. Let's say if I will select these two, okay, or whatever, I can select all of these structural framing elements, and if I will insert details to them to connect to the pipes. So again, I have possibility to use more parameters. Let's say I can use the parameters from the pipe. I can read the diameter of the pipe and use this diameter in my detail family. So you see this detail was adopted according to the pipe diameter. I have this diameter parameter over here. So it has double grades because I read from the connecting elements, not from the host element this time. And also you will see that the length of this detail, the height of the detail, the distance from the structural framing element to the pipe element is different over here. But I also have used the distance to parameter, which is a special parameter which just reads the distance from my structural framing element to my pipe, and I can use this parameter to define the length of my, let's say, this rod. Okay, so it's really cool. Okay, let's see. I will switch to different project and let's see other possibilities. Let's say I was talking about to insert details in the intersection points with other elements. So I select this wall and I select to insert details, and I have to choose the appropriate configuration. Okay, let's back to Revit. Okay, so I have here this configuration. So I have here configuration in which I have defined to, let's edit this configuration and overview it, and where is it? Okay, why did it change? Okay, so in this configuration I have this layout correction rule to search vertically for the elements to the top side and to choose to search for this element and to insert detail, this detail at the top of my wall if I will find intersection with this element. So when I prepared this configuration, I can use this to insert my details in the connection points. Okay, I will choose to insert. Okay, and you will see that angles appears. Okay, you see these angles are next to the truss. So I just define this angle with the offset I need, or I can read parameters values from this host element and do the offset for these angles. So I'll do just a few other examples. Let's say it can be steel framing elements or whatever, but I just used wooden structures this time, but you know that it doesn't matter. Okay, so you see I have inserted details on structural framing elements in the intersection place with other structural elements. So this might be a lot of different situations. Let's say rafter girder configuration. So I will use it here. Okay, so we have these details. We can also, let's say, insert details. Let's say like this. We can insert cuts or solid elements or both at once. Let's say I have inserted this cut at the end of my rafter, right? So it's your fantasy and it's your needs, which we try to follow and to help you. Okay, so we have also here are some different commands to update details or update details by configuration. Let's say I want to overview this at the start, at the bottom. Okay, so let's say if I want to modify details, I can just modify details. I can define that I want to insert something more. Let's say I want to insert some cut at the top. I want to insert it at the start, right? So I can just, if I will save it, it will be saved to the configuration, but I can just update. And you know, this element was updated, but if I will use the same configuration I have used before, so the configuration is not changed. Let's say, which one? This one. So I just modified the details to one one element. So let's say you have 10 same elements, so we should have one rule, but let's say the last one, it must have some additional cuts or details, or maybe it should be skipped something. So you can easily modify this one particular element and not to create a rule, let's say. Then we have possibility to update details. So it will update according to the current configuration, and this one will update according to the configuration name. So let's say if I will delete these details, okay, and I thought maybe it's wrong, so I can just update details. So these details will be again inserted according to the to this element details rules. But if I have used, let's say if I will delete these, and if I will update by configuration, then it will be updated according to the configuration, not to the manual modifications. Okay, so I will just get back now. So these are differences between two commands. Also, we have options to delete details, different options. Let's say if I have this, I can, of course, I can use manual details. I can insert, let's say, 80% with using Smart Details and add something manually. So to delete details, you can have different options. Let's say if I will choose this one, I will delete only Smart Details, the details I created with our solution. If I will use to delete selected, so I will delete only one group of elements. So I didn't delete this one. So just one rule. And this one, it will delete all the details which are hosted to this element, all the manual and automatically created details. And gravity points, it will insert just gravity point according to the selected element. It just has to have material with physical properties, with a density property, and you will have a gravity point. So it can be parts or generic models or framing elements, any available Smart Details categories. So you can delete or update gravity point if you have changes in your element and so on. Okay, let's get back to the Create and Modify tab, and here are also some, let's say, here are different options how to insert details. So in all the previous examples I have showed you, I have selected element, I have selected to insert details. But now if I will not select any element and I will click on Insert Details, you will see this window. So you can select in model one element, or you can choose the category you want. So if I will use this one, so all the categories will be listed in my management window, where I can see and follow information about my elements. Okay, so it will gather all information about the all categories available in my project, and it will present information about them. Live presentation slows it down, but let's wait, it should be quick enough actually. Okay. And in this upcoming window, you can filter your elements. You can choose to insert details through this window. You can see if details were inserted to the element, the date when the details were inserted. I don't know if it's still working or what's happening here. Okay, so should I quit? No, it just took somehow much more time than I expected. Okay, so here in this window you will see all the walls in your project. Okay, so you see all the information about if they are up to date or they are modified manually, right? You see these elements were modified manually. We have elements without details. We have possibility, as I said, we can, let's say, select parameter under which we want to filter, and I will click on filter by this parameter. So I filtered all of these walls, and you see place where inserted where the name of configuration have been used over here, and I can select this element through this window, and I will see that it was selected in my model. Again, I can filter, I can select these elements, close the window and isolate these elements, and I can choose the configuration I want, and I can insert these details to this element, let's say to a selected element or a group of elements. So I can use also, I can insert details also through this window. Okay, you will see that the date when my details were inserted. Okay, I will close this one. And another option we have to insert details is that, okay, I will switch to a different project because, yep, it's maybe better. Okay, so here, let's say you have, I have curtain elements, curtain wall elements. Let's say I have again some glass holder with details distributed along to fix, some kind of bolts. I have some drainage cuts, and I have also some transom gaskets on the side, on the other side to hold the glass. Okay, so if you want to insert all of these details and insert these gaskets from start to the end of these elements and or distribute and cut all of these holes, so it will take a great amount of time. Okay, but with Smart Details, even for this case especially, it's really good because, let's say, these are pretty standard elements, right? So you can actually define the configuration name which you want under this parameter, Smart Details configuration. You can just enter the name of configuration. Let's say for this one we have a transom glass holder. For this vertical element we have configuration Mullin glass holder. Okay, so if I will select these elements and I will use auto insert command, so the solution will insert details according to the name of configuration which exists in the properties of this element. So before just modeling all of these framing elements, you can write this configuration name in the family, in the properties already. So after you draw your elements, you can just click on auto insert, and you don't need to manually assign these configurations. You can just click on auto insert and all the details will be inserted according to the configuration name which is defined in the properties. So this is additional feature of our Smart Details which was introduced in the last update of Smart Details. Okay, I think I have said and showed the examples I wanted to show you. If you have questions, just ask me, or you can contact us later. I can say a few more words about our company, about this tool, that you can download it from our webpage, and you will be able to try all of our solutions for 14 days. Just install them, and you can see updates of these solutions through this tool. You can take free 40 days trial, and how to use tool, and you can get the support through this email, through the technical documentation, and so on. Yep. Let's see if we have any questions from our great auditory. I don't see any questions actually at the moment. So, okay, I think that's it. If Maria wants to say something about their contacts or something, but you can see them on my screen. So I hope the webinar was interesting, and if you have questions, contact us later. Thank you for attention, and goodbye.
And I will say a few words.
Okay.
We can take the last slide.
Yeah.
Vi vill tacka för ert deltagande idag. Och vill ni veta mer så har vi ju även möjlighet att supporta er i frågor kring det. Ni kan läsa mer på AGACADs hemsida, precis som Valensas visade här nyss. Och vi har även förstärkt vårt samarbete här nu, så inom kort så kommer ni kunna ladda ner från vår hemsida med, och dockan kommer bli uppdaterad så att ni känner igen vårt varumärke med. Vi vill bara göra ett sista slag, för vi kommer ha våra BIM-seminarier där vi kommer prata mer om de här produkterna från AGACAD, och att det är en ny webbvisning om att regla upp träväggar imorgon. Men hjärtligt välkomna att höra av er om ni har frågor. Tack för idag.